The term organized crime refers to groups whose primary objective is illegal activity for financial gain. The Mafia, the Yakuza, and the Triads are all names we use to refer to organized crime groups that have existed in Japan, China, and Italy, respectively, for hundreds of years. However, these are not the only examples of organized crime. In fact, there was an empire of crime that overshadowed all other empires of its time, and it was uneven human. It is estimated that this empire stretches back about 2 million years, which would make it at least 10 times older than humanity's oldest organized crime group, the Mafia. This empire is nature's own version of a well-oiled machine, and it shows no signs of slowing down anytime soon. So what exactly makes this empire so powerful? And what is it about the way it's structured that allows it to thrive? Stick around to find out more about one of the most powerful empires in the world, Ant Empire. Ants are among the most successful creatures on Earth. There are more ants on Earth than humans, and they can be found on every continent except Antarctica. Ants are part of the insect family Formicidae, which contains over 12,000 known species. Scientists believe there may be as many as 22,000 ant species alive today. This makes them second only to beetles, who belong to the family Scarabedae and number somewhere between 300 and 600,000. But while beetles are often large and easy to spot, ants tend to go unnoticed. They play an essential role in our ecosystem, helping to break down dead plants and recycle nutrients back into the soil. In this way, they provide a valuable service that helps sustain life on Earth. However, despite their usefulness, ants can also be a nuisance. Their bites can be painful, and some species can even kill you. Most people probably do and think much about ants unless they happen to come across a colony in their home or garden. But ants are actually quite fascinating creatures with a complex social structure and incredible abilities. For example, ants are one of the few insects that can lift objects much heavier than themselves. They achieve this feat by working together in groups. One ant can carry up to 10 times its own weight, but a group of ants working together can carry up to 50 times their combined weight. That's equivalent to 5 average men carrying the Space Shuttle Endeavour. But how do ants manage to lift such heavy loads without injuring themselves or each other? The answer lies in the way they communicate and work together. Ants produce and release chemicals called pheromones that help them communicate with each other. These pheromones can convey information about food sources, potential predators, and other important information. Pheromones are essential to an ant's survival because they allow the ants to share information quickly and efficiently. When an ant finds a food source, it releases a pheromone trail leading back to the colony. Other ants follow the trail, and once they locate the food source, begin bringing it back to the nest. The process continues until the food is depleted or the ants become satiated. Similarly, if an ant detects a predator, it will release a warning pheromone that alerts the other ants in the colony. This allows the ants to take evasive action and avoid being captured. Pheromones are just one example of the amazing adaptations that have allowed ants to become so successful. Their complex social structure and incredible abilities have made them one of the most feared and respected creatures on Earth. Although there are thousands of different species of ants, they all share some common characteristics. First, ants are highly social creatures that live in colonies with a queen, workers, and soldiers. The queen is responsible for laying eggs and ensuring the colony's survival. Workers gather food and care for the young, while soldiers defend the colony against predators. Second, ants are incredibly strong for their size, can lift objects up to 50 times their own weight, and can carry their body weight up to 10 times. Finally, ants are extremely adaptable and can be found in almost every habitat on Earth. They are also capable of learning and can remember the location of food sources for months. For all these reasons, ants are some of the most formidable creatures on Earth. They are not to be messed with. But despite their power and adaptability, ants are still vulnerable to threats from both inside and outside their colonies. That's why it's important for them to be prepared for anything. This is where the army comes in. An army is a group of individuals who come together for a common purpose, in this case, to protect their colony. Armies can be organized in different ways, but they all share some common elements. They need to be disciplined and obey orders from their leaders. They also need to be well-trained and equipped to deal with whatever threats they may face. Finally, armies need to be cohesive and work together as a unit. One of the most important aspects of any army is its ability to communicate effectively. If ants can't communicate with each other, They can't coordinate their attacks or defend their colony. Luckily, ants have evolved a number of ways to communicate, including chemical signals, visual cues, and touch. Chemical signals are perhaps the most important form of communication for ants. As we discussed earlier, ants release chemicals called pheromones that convey information about food sources, potential predators, and other important information. Pheromones are essential to an ant's survival because they allow the ants to share information quickly and efficiently. Visual cues are also important for ants, especially when communicating about the location of food sources. Ants can communicate using visual landmarks, such as the position of the sun or the shape of a tree. Touch is another important form of communication for ants. Ants often touch each other with their antennae as a way of greeting each other or exchanging information. Another important aspect of any army is its ability to plan and execute complex tasks. Ants are capable of some truly remarkable feats of engineering, such as building intricate nests and bridges. They accomplish these tasks by working together in groups and following a set of simple rules. Each ant follows a set of basic rules that govern its behavior. For example, an ant will always bring food back to the colony if it has enough resources. Similarly, an ant will always attack a potential predator if it detects one. By following these simple rules, ants are able to accomplish complex tasks without the need for a central planner. Perhaps the most important aspect of any army is its ability to adapt and evolve. The world is constantly changing, and new threats are always emerging. Ants have been able to adapt to these changes by being flexible in their behavior and willing to learn from their mistakes. For example, ants have been able to adapt to the changing climate by altering the depth of their nests. They have also been able to defend their colonies against new predators by developing new behaviors and strategies. All of these factors combined make ant empires some of the most powerful forces on Earth. Ant empires are ruthless and efficient killing machines. They are highly organized and disciplined, capable of planning and executing complex tasks. And they are extremely adaptable and able to evolve and change as needed. In short, ant empires are not to be messed with. In addition to being highly organized and disciplined, ant empires are also incredibly efficient. They are able to use their resources wisely and get the most out of every worker. This efficiency stems from the fact that ants are all working towards the same goal, the survival of the colony. Each ant knows its role and carries it out to the best of its ability. This allows the colony to function like a well-oiled machine and accomplish incredible things. For example, ant colonies can build elaborate underground nests with tunnels and chambers for storing food, raising young and sheltering the queen. They can also construct bridges to allow ants to cross obstacles. They can even build dams to control the flow of water. Ant empires are also incredibly resilient. They are able to bounce back from setbacks and recover quickly from disasters. This resilience is due to the fact that ants are always prepared for the worst. They have contingency plans in place and are ready to adapt to changing circumstances. For example, if a colony is attacked, ants will quickly abandon their current task and focus on defending the colony. If a disaster strikes, such as a flood or fire, ants will quickly evacuate the area and set up a new colony elsewhere. Ant empires are also highly successful. They are able to expand their territory and increase their power over time. This success is due to the fact that ants are constantly striving to improve and grow. They are always looking for new ways to be more efficient, more resilient, and more powerful. For example, ants are constantly experimenting with new foraging strategies to find the most food possible. They are also constantly scouting out new nesting sites to ensure the safety of their colony, and they are constantly recruiting new members to join their empire. Overall, ant empires are some of the most powerful forces on Earth. They are highly organized, disciplined, efficient, resilient, and successful. They're not to be messed with. So the next time you see an anthill, remember that you are looking at the headquarters of a powerful empire. And if you ever have the chance to meet an ant soldier, be sure to thank him for his service. After all, he is putting his life on the line every day to protect his colony. What do you think? Does the ant empire deserve its reputation as one of the most powerful empires in the world? Let us know your thoughts. Thanks for watching. See you next time.